Welcome back to the White Gray Black Weekly Manga Podcast. My name is Bruce, the producer of the White Gray Black YouTube channel. With me again this week is Gautam.
What's up, people?
This is a podcast where we talk about the latest Japanese manga releases. Welcome to the Manga Book Club, and thank you for being here. This week we are talking about Akane-Banashi, Chapter 64, Blue Box, Chapter 103, and Kindergarten Wars up to Chapter 15, because that has been getting published in the West. Big thing that we'll start at the top of the hour is we just got 4 new manga releases from Weekly Shonen Jump from Shueisha. One of them is good. The other 3 are pretty poor. Mm-hmm. Usually there are sort of 2 blocks. There's kind of like a spring block and a fall block of new releases. That's what the last couple of years have been like for WSJ. But it was announced today, maybe yesterday, 2 new series are going to be premiering in Weekly Shonen Jump in, I believe it is issues 29 and 30, which I think is June, is like in two-ish weeks. I think not this weekend, but the next weekend. 17th, 18th, I think is or maybe it's the week after that, in 2 or 3 weeks. And then the week after that, 29 and 30. So we are getting 2 new series. The first of which is from a series called Hinumaru Sumo, which is a sumo wrestling manga by that author named Kawada. They're going to start a new mixed martial arts focused sports manga series titled Asumi Kakeru. June 19th, there's the date. Starring a boy and a girl duo who have a fateful encounter. Boy, you could not get a more generic description than that.
This seems like Blue Box with like sumo, I guess.
But potentially. I mean, I certainly will take more Blue Box. I think Blue Box is awesome. I was not familiar with Hinumaru Sumo, so I had to look it up briefly. It looks just
this is not about sumo. Okay, got it.
Yes. So Kawada's the author of this one. Their first series is Hinumaru Sumo. It's a sports series about sumo. So
I've read all of this actually.
Oh, have you really? Okay, that is even better then, because I was going to say I flipped through it and it looked fine. Obviously can't. Is it good?
It was good. Yeah, it was a good series.
Is it good, or was it like kind of good?
It is. It is regular good. Meaning,
regular good. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say like a 7 out of 10. Okay,
cool. That's encouraging then, because if this author has improved or practiced, assumedly their new one will also be a good series. This is interesting that 2 new things are coming. I think what this means is that I think this is because Mashal is ending soon. I think one of these will be a replacement for Mashal, and the other one, I don't know what the other one is for. Maybe just filling out the deck, so to speak.
Maybe they know like something is going to fail out of the new candidates, or like a lot of them are going to fail, and they're padding their roster a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, generally what we've seen historically is that I think even if they know after chapter 1 that something's a failure, right? Like Nue's Exorcist is a failure. That is not going to change anyone's mind unless they do something absolutely wild. They generally still give those people at minimum 2 volumes, right? They usually give them at least 14 to 15 chapters, which is, almost 3 months of publication. My guess is they are not, this could be because they are not expecting Ruri Dragon back at all or anytime soon. And so maybe there was a slot they were holding that they are saying, if they come back, we'll put them on Jump Plus or something. Because it has been, when was Ruri Dragon was first published? I want to say August, maybe September last year. So we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of, we got, how many chapters of that did we get? Like 4, and then they just left.
Yeah, it was true. I think they have flex slots though, because Hunter x Hunter is so inconsistent, and it's like it's out when it's out kind of a thing. So I don't know. I don't know how any of this works.
Yeah, it's a little strange. We'll have to see. So the other one is from a new author. The new author's name is Ikkyu Hachiya. Relative unknown. They have one published one shot on Manga Plus in Japan that is not translated into English, called Seiryu no Magui. I flipped through and it looked pretty good. Honestly, like, it's very hard to tell. I do not read Japanese. I know virtually no reading Japanese. I know like one. I know the symbol for no, which is a little circle and a thing. But flipping through it, I was getting good vibes from visual storytelling, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
That new series will be called Icehead Gill, which
How's
we have
the
gotten.
art?
Was that?
How's the art?
I thought the art was good. I thought the art was slightly above average. Not amazing, but it was also much more slice of life and less sort of actiony. So it's a little bit harder to kind of flex your muscles there.
Oh, cool. Okay, you don't need to be the best artist in the world for that. So perfect.
Yeah, I mean, but definitely you can go flip through and check it out. It did seem, I mean, just from the general kind of like page flow and page layout, it did seem much kind of more interesting and better than a lot of stuff. Right? It was definitely better than New Age Exorcist or Doraron or those kinds of things, which I think are sort of generic and standard and not very good. But anyways, we don't know anything about that series. Their series will be called Icehead Gill. Apparently the only information we have on it is there will be a man with an axe in it. So,
oh, okay. Guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting. I thought that we were kind of, through the kind of big month or two of all the new series dropping, and it's like, nope, you got 2 more in the middle of the year. Yeah, I do think, minor tangent here, I do think that it's really difficult to premiere 4 series in a row, essentially, or even, 4 series in 5 weeks. Because like we did on the podcast and out of it, you're going to pick one that you go, well, this one's good, and the rest of them are bad. So I'm only going to read one new thing. I think it would be better for WSJ to just do, I don't know, one new thing every month or two, see if it sticks. If it doesn't, do another new thing, to be more kind of overlapping with them, as opposed to just like do a big block. Okay, cancel 3 out of 4 every 6 months. Do another big block of 4 new things. Does one of them stick? Okay, do another block. That feels. I mean, I think I understand why they do it that way, but I don't know how do you feel about having more spread out? Yeah, the structure.
I think I'd prefer it more spread out as well, because I think when you release something new, you have to earn the audience's buy-in. And I think that is harder when you do 4 new things consecutively.
Yeah.
I think people are less willing to give bad things a chance to develop if you have 3 other new things that you're giving a chance as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like that strategy, but
yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think it's a lot to ask to get into anything new, right? That's kind of that's the hardest thing, is the biggest buy-in is, here's a new thing, please invest in it, please keep reading it. And asking someone to do that 4 weeks in a row, 5 weeks in a row is a lot. And that's, more than most people are willing to do, right? I mean, that's honestly more than we're willing to do. I, gave the things that I thought were okay 3 or 4 chapters, but, I think I read the 2nd chapter of New Age Exorcist, and I have not read a chapter since then. I think we're on chapter 4 or 5 now.
I have dropped everything except for Tenmaku Cinema.
I'm in the same situation. I think I read like maybe 5 chapters of Kill Blue, 5 or 6, maybe 4 chapters of Do Retry, and 2 chapters. Yeah, less and less, right?
Yeah.
It also doesn't help, and I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. It doesn't help that they just kind of publish them in decreasing quality order. Like they publish the best. They publish the best thing first, and so your expectations are now set really high. Like, wow, this is really good. And then the next thing comes out, and you go, well, this isn't as good. And the next thing comes out, and you go, well, this is even worse. And the last thing comes out, and you're like, this is bad. So,
I wonder if that was an intentional choice, or if they just thought everything was the same quality and they just did it.
I mean, from what we've seen historically, I think every time they've done one of these blocks that I've read, sort of all the new stuff, I think they almost always publish things in decreasing quality order.
Got it. Let's see if it happens here too.
I'm not sure. I mean, or they at least, I think, assume. seniority, and I mean seniority isn't always quality, but in this case you're getting, okay, this person has published, a full manga, they're doing another one, and the second one is a brand new person, but we'll see.
And it's like, you're right, it's like Shokugeki no Soma, Food Wars has global popularity,
Yeah.
People
Huge anime
hear...
adaptation, 300 plus chapter, great run, made a ton of money for Shueisha. Yeah, a known quantity.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of known quantities, a quick little happy birthday shout out. Today, we are recording on June 7th, is Hirohiko Araki's birthday. That is the author of notable famous works like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3 Stardust Crusaders, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4 Diamonds Unbreakable, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 Stone Ocean, etc. Basically, this guy's only written JoJo for almost 40 years, I want to say now.
But I was wondering where you were going with that, because I was like, what else has he written? But yeah.
I was actually looking, I was like, surely he's written some other stuff. And I think since he's published JoJo, he's written maybe one non-JoJo thing, and he's only written the now, 9 parts of JoJo and spin-offs. Everything I looked at his sort of like one-shot manga or like other manga published, and it's like, oh, this has an interesting name, and it's like parentheses spin-off of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, parentheses spin-off of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So
yeah, good for him, man. He knows what he's doing. He clearly made a successful series and is still doing it well. So
yeah,
props.
I think I missed the third or fourth chapter of Part 9. I kind of want to read it because I was kind of digging the first 2 chapters. It was definitely interesting. His art, his art has leveled up. His art, I think, is actually really good in the Part 9 stuff that I was reading. Part 8, there's so many parts. I think we're on Part 9, right?
Also, I think JoJo in general occupies this space of chaotic energy that no other manga seems to meet. So, I'm here for it.
Yeah, he's very, and
keep doing you, Araki.
I don't remember if we've talked about this on the podcast or not. I know we've talked about it a lot, but there's sort of in writing, a lot of the sort of novel / book writing podcasts that I listen to, there's 2 notable kind of methods of writing. One of them is called discovery writing, and the other is sort of a planned writing style, which has a couple different names. And someone like Oda is very much kind of a planned writer, right? His world, he builds his world out. He knows where things are going before they happen. He's, planned into the future, knows where has laid out, at the very least, has laid out a basic skeleton and builds around that. On the other side, discovery writers don't really build anything except for maybe an idea and some characters, and then they sort of write and see where it goes, right? They discover along the way where the story is going. And I think Araki and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is massively interesting because he is intentionally a discovery writing manga author, and there's not a whole lot of those. Even though we talk about sometimes kind of, putting the tracks in front of you as you go because you haven't planned where you're going, and that often series lose quality when that happens. Because JoJo intentionally kind of has no idea where it's going and is always kind of flying by the seat of its pants, that's the fun of it. And it, Araki, even on the large scale, but even in the small scale, I'm fully convinced. I've watched 3.5 anime seasons of JoJo since I'm like halfway through Part 4. I'm fully convinced that he will come up with an idea for a bad guy, introduce them, and he has no idea how the good guys are going to beat that bad guy until he writes it down and draws it. I don't think he plans like, oh, I'll introduce this guy whose power is this, and they'll counter him with this power, or they'll beat him in this way. He just goes, oh, what if this guy had a bunch of little army men walking around? How do they beat that? And he doesn't know. The author does not know when he introduces that challenge, and he discovery writes his way into it. I think that's very interesting. I think JoJo's is interesting for that reason. Now, I will say that discovery written works don't jive with me as much as planned out stuff. I generally like more planning behind my stories, but lots of people like JoJo, so it is not a bad way of writing.
It's like an improv comedy routine versus a stand-up routine,
Exactly.
And Araki is very practiced, so I feel like, unlike Horikoshi, who we were talking about earlier, with the putting the train tracks in front of you as you go.
Yeah.
I think Araki has just been doing this for the 150 years he's been on this planet, and
He's only
he will continue.
62, I believe, which is pretty old for a mangaka, but not that old.
Goddamn, JoJo has been going on forever too.
I think it premiered in 79, 84, 88, sometime in the 80s. But yeah, so happy birthday to Mr. Hirohiko Araki. Speaking of happy birthday, it will be the first birthday. No, the 0th birthday? The birthday. Anyways, another new series from our boy, the excellent character designer, that's sarcasm, Hiro Mashima. This is the guy who has done Fairy Tail and Eden Zero, is starting a new dark fantasy manga series titled Dead Rock. That is going to be in Monthly Shonen Magazine. And that starts July 6th, so right about in 1 month here. The little tagline here we have is, a demon boy is taking on the harsh entrance exams of the Demon King Academy named Dead Rock. This is probably going to be bad. I don't think I'm going to like this. How do you feel?
I think I won't like it either, but there's a market for it. If you liked Fairy Tail or Eden Zero,
which a lot of people did, so
it's a Mashima work. You know what you're getting into, right?
A spiky-haired protagonist that looks exactly like every other spiky-haired protagonist,
and who acts like a very shonen protagonist.
Yeah.
Having said that, I don't get Mashima. He is a machine. I don't know how he does everything he does. He like doesn't miss a week. He just pumps out manga, and goddamn, like the art's not even that bad. It's good art.
No, he's a pretty good artist. Like I memed on him for his character designs. If you go look, like, let me see if I can, like,
I don't know how he does it. It's just freaking crazy. And like in an article, like in the same article he announced this, he mentioned that he gets 7 hours of sleep and plays 2 or 3 hours of video games before he sleeps. And
that's wild. That's wild to me. Yeah. So like I put it on screen here. So this is like, what is it? Fairy Tail protagonist is on the right. Eden Zero is on. No, this is 3, right? This is Fairy Tail, Eden Zero, and was it Rave Master? Is that the other one? Rave Master.
Yeah, Rave Master.
These 3 characters in the middle, they're like, it's the Pam meme. It's the same picture. Like those are the same character. And I'm pretty sure I saw a picture of this of the Dead Rock thing. And it is also the same protagonist. It is like a spiky hair shonen guy. Like, so
unsurprising, but honestly, he
stick
has
with what you know. Quantity over quality, maybe.
It's weird because like the quality isn't that bad. It's very generic, so it's not for us, and it is very shonen, so it's not for us. Yeah.
But there's also the idea that people like us, and me in particular, we have to watch ourselves because sometimes we get frustrated when we feel like the same stories are being told over again. And we have to keep in mind that there are new people in the world that have not experienced all of the stories that we've seen. So
it's just age-based cynicism because we've seen it too many times, and we are older. So
there was
if you see the same thing 5 times in a row, you'll get bored or annoyed with it, and that just happens as you get older.
Right.
But yeah, like I liked Fairy Tail when I was younger and it came out. So I expect someone like me who is like 10 years younger, 12 years younger than me, to
maybe 20
get into this.
Maybe a 10-year-old.
I don't think
a 22, 23-year-old is gonna be enjoying this near as much as like a 10-year-old. This is real shonen for 9 to 14-year-olds, right? That's kind of what this guy does.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's a very known quantity.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think people who like this or people who aren't familiar with it will find this and they will say, this is comfortable and familiar. This is rewatching The Office for people our age. Comfortable and familiar, even though you know exactly what's going to happen, and that's still okay to enjoy those things. So,
yep.
I will read chapter 1 because you never know. Maybe.
Me too.
We'll see. Maybe I can definitely stomach stuff like this if the art is really good or if the paneling or something. So we'll have to see. Because I have never even dipped a toe or tested out Fairy Tail or Eden Zero or any of these. So I've never consumed anything Mashima. So I'll try this when it comes out. We'll probably talk about it on the pod, and then my guess is we'll dismiss it as this is a shonen. If you like shonen, you check this out.
You would hate it. I think
I'm predicting that it will be the premise sounds like the most generic thing. Like, oh my gosh, a demon school academy with a guy in it.
I like
It's the
Iruma.
4th demon school academy manga to premiere in as many years. So,
Shout out to Iruma Demon School. It's great.
I've heard that one's good. I need
It is
to
good.
check that
It
one
is
out.
good.
Has a lot of chapters, so it's scary.
It's really fun. Easy read.
Yeah, I need to get into it. Here's a weird one. Wit Studio and WB Japan, that is Warner Brothers Japan, have announced that they are announcing a new isekai. They're gonna premiere or talk about it on July 3rd. I believe that is at anime. What's the anime convention in LA? The big one. That one.
Anime Con.
I don't
LA.
think it's. What is it actually called? Why am I blanking on it?
I have no idea. It doesn't matter
like
though.
Anime Expo, AX. Yeah, AX, yeah. Anime Expo. So they're premiering that at Anime Expo at AX. And they have said it is an isekai, and they said the anime will have, quote, some familiar faces.
Who are you calling?
I'm assuming this is just DC isekai. I don't know if they'll let Batman into this, but this could be. I mean, who knows? This could be kind of B tier, C tier people. This could be, I don't know, like Plastic Man, Black Canary, Hawkman or something, isekai. I don't know. Or maybe it's a normal person gets isekai into the DC world. I assume it's going to be the other way around, but who knows?
It's an isekai after Superman does what he does to Lois Lane in Injustice Chapter 1.
Oh, in Injustice, I was like, where are you going with normal?
Yeah, it's just Lois Lane isekai.
I'll take a swing for the fences on this. I actually think this is going to be Justice League isekai. I actually think this is just going to be the Justice League gets isekai'd, and
that would
that's
just
the
make
whole
no
premise.
sense.
That's the whole premise. It's how do Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Green Lantern.
They would be fine. They would be so fine.
They would be but that's the whole. So that's the whole appeal of isekai, though, is the power fantasy of they get to the new world and they now have superpowers. But in this one, instead, they get to the world and they've always had superpowers. So it's the same idea. You've just cut out the scene at the start after they die that they go to the new world and they get superpowers. They just get there and they're the same people.
Yeah, it's funny because if any of those motherfuckers get isekai'd, there is no threat capable of facing them at all. Like the Flash alone.
The Flash, Superman. Yeah.
The Flash freaking ran to the end of time itself. Like, what can stop that? Nothing.
Multiple
it's insane.
Times. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been doing that a lot. I'm interested to see that again. That's on July 3rd, Akon. So
here's my wild swing.
Yeah, what's your wild swing? Sorry, go for it.
Yeah. Sam and Dean from Supernatural, isekai.
Are they a Warner Brothers property?
Yeah,
they are because they cross over with Constantine or something, didn't they?
They're a CW property.
Yeah, CW. Yeah, okay, CW. Yeah, okay.
It's not going to be them, but it will be hilarious if it was.
Yeah, we'll see. The quote that they gave, the quote, some familiar faces, that tells me multiple characters. This is an anime endeavor because this is Wit Studio, right? Wit Studio is mainly responsible for Attack on Titan, the first 3 seasons, I believe. I really think this is just going to be Justice League, or potentially like Suicide Squad isekai. That might be a funnier, better premise. The Suicide Squad gets isekai might be more fun than the Justice League gets isekai.
I think it would be more interesting because at least the Suicide Squad they're not overpowered. They are, but like not that overpowered, you know?
Yeah, they're goofier. I don't know. This could be anything. It might be disappointing when they come out and it's like child Batman isekai or something. I don't know. That would be pretty lame. But speaking of
Supernatural has an anime. Might be it.
Oh no.
Okay, keep going. Move past it.
Speaking of pretty lame, One Piece is going on a 1-month break. That isn't actually lame because Oda is getting surgery to correct his astigmatism, which we are both in the club of. I also have massive astigmatism. I don't even see how massively thick my glasses are. But so he's going to get that surgery. I believe we get this week published, and then I think 1 more week, and then it will be 4 weeks off for Oda. This is funny because this is the 3rd time he's taken a break this long in the entirety of One Piece. He has never taken a break for 4 weeks except for the time skip. And then a year ago, he went to go help with the production of the One Piece live action, and I think he took a full 4 weeks then also. It might have been 3. But he flew to South Africa. I followed a bunch of that stuff. And then he was getting surgery and taking 4 weeks. So
rest up, King.
Yep.
He deserves it.
I am curious to see when he comes back what his art looks like, if it's changed or different.
Just watch it be like 5 times better.
He'll literally just revert all the way back to like the starting art style, the like very busy full lines. That'd be really funny.
Do you know when the break starts?
So I believe he is still going to be published in WSJ 29. It's either we get this Sunday's One Piece and then he's on break, or we get 1 more and then he's on break. I think we're getting 1 more and then he's on break. So
okay, cool.
I think it starts on the 18th is the Sunday for us. I think it starts then, but it might be earlier than that. So he'll be back July something. Middle of July 16th, maybe. I think July 16th was his return. But yeah, so that should be. I don't know. Every other time he's taken a break, he's come back strong. I believe the year ago time he took a break was maybe right at the end of Wano.
I don't remember, but
yeah, it was right at the end of Wano because he came back in. Minor spoilers. Did he come back and like Shanks showed up? Wasn't that maybe the time where he took the break?
I truly don't recall when he last took the break.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
sure.
all blended together for me.
Anyways, speaking of taking a break, it doesn't work. Anyways, next piece of news is Yusuke Murata, artist of One Punch Man, is announced to be working on a new iShield 21 one-shot titled Brain X Brave. Yusuke Murata is the original author, or the original artist, the artist on iShield 21. The author of that is, I believe it's Boichi. Or no, who's the author of Dr. Stone?
It's Boichi.
No, I thought...
Is he the artist? I don't remember.
Inagaki. Richiro Inagaki. I believe that is who... Richiro Inagaki. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Man, that guy only works with talented artists.
Yes. He hasn't done anything else. Trillion Game is his most recent thing, which I have not been reading, but I have seen. That also has really good art in it.
It hasn't been getting translated, but I read up to what was translated.
Yeah, I remember seeing that a couple of years ago, and I have not seen it more recently. He's also the artist on that, which is interesting because his art is also really good. So cool.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, if you want to go check that out, go look up Yusuke Murata's Twitter, and you can see the little short animation he released to commemorate the 21st anniversary of iShield 21. It goes to show the reason I made my first video on the White Gray Black channel is because Yusuke Murata uses animation in his action paneling, and turns out he's really good at doing animation too.
Yeah, go see his One Punch Man animation. It's like he drew the whole thing himself, and it's great. It's just super charming and fun.
Yeah, he also released like a Journey to the West Monkey King translation thing like 6 months ago, maybe. That was also really good in like 2 parts. Like this guy has released, I'm trying to think, in the past, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, he's released a good like 7 or 8 minutes of animation. Like,
dude, he's a monster.
I am pretty sure. So
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, he also took a break at the end of last year. And I saw people kind of saying like, oh, rest up, come back. And I looked at the tweet that he released, and he literally said he was going to work on animation stuff. I don't remember. I think he was maybe working on his own personal thing, but I took it as he was going to work on some animation for One Punch Man Season 3. So I think whenever we get Season 3, Yusuke Murata will be a key artist in that. So I am excited for that.
I think he is the definition of the saying, if you love what you do, you're not working a day in your life.
For sure. I think that is for sure the truth. Speaking of loving what you do, last piece of news today. June 17th, so 10 days from now, there will be a Netflix of global fan event called Tudum. This is, I think, in South America somewhere. I think in Brazil. And all 5 of the One Piece live action Straw Hats will be in attendance. My prediction here is, I've been calling it for a while now. I think this is maybe the 3rd time I've said this is when we are getting the One Piece live action trailer, but this is planned to be released this summer in like a couple of months. The planned release time for One Piece live action is summer 2023, so we are pretty quickly running out of time. We get this trailer on the 17th. I would put money on it.
Let's see it then. I'm looking forward to it. I am
10
very
days.
curious as to see how this even looks.
Yep. I wonder if how much they will show, because they could do a very atmospheric teasery thing, or they could do, hey, here's what the stretchy powers look like. Here's what a man with a sword in his mouth looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I really hope it's good. I think
so.
It is going to be good. I think it is going to be a well-made quality show that might fall short because it just looks weird, but we'll see.
I think there is a lot of heart and effort put into this.
Yep.
And that is all I think.
I hope it pays off on the other end.
I hope
all the
so.
interviews I've
We'll
seen
see.
with the creators, I think all the actors are great.
I think it's gonna.
We'll
I think it's gonna bomb, but yeah, I hope it doesn't.
Yep, we'll see. We certainly will see. I don't want to be too negative on it, but
I don't feel like I'm being negative. I think I've just seen this happen too many times.
Yeah, there are no good live action anime adaptations. There are not. So it's realistic to say this one will also not be good because there's never been a good one before. So
wait, hold on. I want to shout out Rurouni Kenshin, the live action.
Okay.
The one exception to the rule.
Okay.
They are good. But that's it. I haven't seen anything else that's good.
That's the only one. Yep.
That's the only one.
Let's talk about manga. You're going first this week. Talk to me about our little darling Akane-Banashi. This is chapter 64. This has been going over a year. I feel like we just passed that over.
Yeah.
That this started last spring and has just been like consistently one of, if not the best thing in Jump almost every week.
It just hits all the time. The author knows what they're doing.
And it moves really fast, and there's no downtime. It goes, okay, time for the next arc, immediately into it.
Yep.
But talk to me about this chapter, which was focusing on one of Akane's rivals in the competition that she's trying to compete against 3 other individuals to get in to be a part of 2 people who get to go compete along with 3 other people. I don't know. She's
effectively, they are in a competition.
Yes, there's a competition to go to another competition.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, at the moment, one of her rivals, he's this chubby-looking older dude who used to be in sales, and it was pretty easy to dismiss him as like a side character. Go back one real quick.
Oh yeah.
As a side character, all around, but no, he has the talent for it. I absolutely love this character. Mainly because he's incredibly relatable to me, especially. I felt
both of us, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We were both in the cells. Yeah, exactly. So what happened last chapter is, he went up and started doing his performance, and the panel of judges, one of them is a very big stickler for keeping everything in order, or like keeping things traditional and not changing the source material.
Not diverging from source material. Yeah, exactly.
So one guy went before this dude, and he got shit on by this judge for adding his own personal flair to something that judge already considered perfect. So in this chapter, the sales guy goes up and starts doing it pretty traditionally, and all the judges are pretty impressed. And he goes off the rails and adds so much of his own flair and does not care at all about the traditionalist judge. And in the next panel, you'll see that the reason for that is because he used to work in sales, and while he did well selling, because he's talented at talking, he's talented at kind of reading people's emotions and giving them the answer they expect. Uh, he, while he does a great job, he loses the morality and ethics along the way, and he loses his love for the game. He doesn't like selling anymore because it's just lying and manipulating to get what he wants, and he sometimes has to peddle shit he doesn't want to peddle,
Yeah.
even at the expense of the customer who he was there for in the first place.
And this is the big relatable part, at least for me, in the brief stint that I did in sales.
Same here. I quit my sales job for a job that paid way less at the time because it just didn't feel good. I didn't feel good about myself at the end of the day. And that was portrayed exactly in this chapter. He quit to do Rakugo because it brought back the feeling of just being there and making people happy being your ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And
And there's like when I was in sales, I did the part of sales that I did like was like someone comes to me and says, I have a problem, I need to fulfill this need, and helping them get there was that's a satisfying part of sales. Every other part, which this guy calls out, right, like the pushing products which aren't good or that you don't think they need, or hitting that quota, like those are the parts of sales that suck. But like making people happy and them coming to you and saying, please help me, that was great. I got lucky enough that I applied for a sales job at the job where Gautam and I met. And luckily enough, the recruiter was smart and in tune enough to say, you don't sound like you would actually like being in sales. You sound like you would be better in customer support. And I said, that sounds awesome. That sounds way better than sales. And I'm very lucky to have been swapped over there now. So
I don't think you can be an ethical salesperson unless your product is truly ethical. But
yeah, unless your product is really the solution that people need.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he continue with what's going on with the character here.
Sure. So he's an apprentice of our semi-antagonist character Arakawa, and Arakawa tells him, "Your name will be Kaichi, which means joyous and one. And if you betray that moniker, he'll get expelled instantly." And that's exactly what Kaichi wants, because that's what he did in his sales job, is betray his own ideals. So here he has no intention of doing so. And yeah, he just goes out there and gives the best fucking performance he can, puts his all into it, and changes up everything. All for the audience's laughter and appreciation, even at the expense of any kind of judging or results he may receive. He doesn't care about that at all. He only cares about how the people who actually matter feel about his performance.
Yeah, he's a audience first.
And
competitor, I guess.
Exactly. And I love this chapter because the bitter traditionalist judge started out the chapter by saying, "This is so stupid." And after seeing kind of his style and just earnestness and dedication to making the audience laugh, the chapter ends yet again with "This is so stupid." But after the traditionalist judge chuckles, he relents, as in, "Okay, I get it. This is stupid." But
yeah, it's excellent mirroring in telling the chapter. I think the chapter, it might not be the first thing, but it's on like the first page or two of like "This is so stupid," and then it ends with the same "This is so stupid." But that's stupid can be good. We just talked about JoJo. JoJo's a pretty stupid series, but that is part of its charm, and part of this performer's charm too. Yeah, this is just another excellent chapter. That just, it just goes to prove Akane is like, it's always good. It's never bad. And this is a good little encapsulated kind of one-off, one-shot section of the story that kind of tells a character's reason for living, shows their performance, shows them winning over the crowd and actualizing. It's great. I love this chapter too. It was excellent.
I truly don't think I have found a manga character or anime character that I could relate to on a professional and personal level.
A professional
to this degree.
Level,
but also like the mindset behind the reason he quit sales is exactly my mindset and why I quit. Like, it's just bizarre. Sure. It's like looking in a mirror a little bit. I love this guy. He's great. I hope he wins. I hope he makes it.
Yeah, I'm curious. So historically, in the past 60 whatever chapters, Akane has like pretty much come out on top every time she's competed. I think it is probably time for her to fail. My guess is it is in this competition where she does not move forward.
I would like to
I
see that.
I think that because we got a big backstory chapter for this guy, I think there's a very high potential that he moves on, and I think that the voice actress girl, I think the voice actress girl who lost previously to Akane in the high school whatever competition, she's back with a vengeance. I think we'll get her performance either this week or next week. I think she will move on. I think Akane will lose. I think she'll have to go and work and rediscover. It's because Akane is very structured like a sports manga kind of. Generally, they don't just win all the way to the end, right? The real dramatic parts are when they lose, and I like it when it's more realistic. When it isn't just hey, here's how one person becomes the greatest, or here's how one team goes all the way to the end, or it's more like, oh, here's how they struggled and they tried. I'm thinking of like Haikyuu specifically, right? The first year they show up, they are like, I had not seen much sports anime in the past other than the kind of stereotypical stuff, and I was very impressed with Haikyuu in that they kind of go like against one hard opponent and win, and then the next hard opponent they go up against, they get like slaughtered and they lose. And it's like, well, gotta try again next year. And they go back and work hard and do it again, and they do that for 3 years, and it's awesome. And they do not always win, and I have not read the end, so I don't know if in their third year they go on to win the little regional championship or the Japan Nationals or whatever it is, but I should go and read that because it's really good. Or maybe watch the anime.
But like you said, there is no hero's journey without a low point, right? All the wins like a hero or a protagonist gets is like, it's more satisfying after they lose. It feels redemptive, and it makes it more meaningful. So
there's literally no drama without failure and struggle, right? Struggle is drama. So it's if there's no struggle, if someone just does everything as easy, this is a reason that I think is the reason people think that Superman isn't a good character is because they think he doesn't have to struggle to earn any of the wins he gets. I would disagree with that, but it's the same idea behind this, right? If you don't struggle and fail, there is no drama, there is no story, there is no character growth, etc. So anyways sorry Akane, I think you lose this one.
Yeah, me too, but great chapters. I thought last week was amazing. This week was also amazing. So what do you got, Bruce?
I have got Blue Box. This is a really good series. It's been a while since I brought it. I want to say I might have brought it chapter like 99, maybe a month or two ago.
I think it's been long. It's been a bit since we
maybe even longer than that. So spoilers. This is chapter 103. Blue Box by Koji Mira. This is the confession chapter. God bless Reiwa Energy. 103 chapters to a confession. It doesn't look like the series is on a track to end. I haven't heard the announcements. There's still lots of unresolved stories and plots. There's a confession. We're going to see what happens. I think I trust this author. But really, I mean, it's just again, speaking of drama, there's no drama without struggle. And this is a super good kind of very simple struggle to a confession chapter, I guess. Taiki is the male main character. I remember, I'm trying to think, he like takes a group trip with his friends, and he happens to end up in the same area that the girl is in, and so they're like trying to meet up, but they miss each other. And then he's like, wait, I can like get the bus. The bus will be here to take me to where she is. And then the bus doesn't come for an hour. And so he's like, then in the chapter before this, he's just like, fuck it, I'll run. Both of these are like athletes, right? So he literally just like sprints to this lake. She gets taken back there. It's not a whole lot happens. They like call each other, and he's like, I need you to meet me at the lake. And they both kind of like, this is maybe the sole reason I wanted to bring this, is that there's just some really good visual storytelling, and both of them really sort of struggling and persevering, dramatically getting to the point that Taiki gets to confess. But yeah, this is I don't know. It's just like a really good confession chapter. I feel like all confession chapters are pretty good because it's almost always it's a big payoff, especially if you just kind of invested and you're still reading at a moment. And this one came like not even. It's weird because it isn't. I'm trying to think of how to say this. It didn't necessarily come at like a apex or climax of the story. It kind of came during like a down phase, but also it definitely felt like the characters had been bottling it up to a point of explosion for a long time. And this, I think that them kind of exploding into a confession here is felt very good and appropriate. I mean, you can see on screen, it's just there's something to tell you, and then you get some gorgeous double page spreads. I like you, Chinatsu Senpai. Like I don't know. I'm a sucker.
It's simple. I like
for
it.
It's simple. I mean, and Blue Box I think is really good. And is setting itself up to be kind of probably the best romance in main WSJ. I can't think of another one that even has romance right now because most of them don't even have it. But
people like that one called "You and I Are Polar Opposites" a lot. I read the first few chapters of that, but
okay.
I don't know. You've seen it before.
I have seen it before. I have not read it, but
okay, got it. But yeah, you could be very well right. I hear like a lot of good things about Blue Box. All in all,
it's good.
I gotta say,
it
benefits from character designs. Like the character designs are fucking awesome.
Yeah, the art's great in this. I mean, and that's one of the things again that this author does like sports slice of life romance, and like all parts of it are really good. Like the sports drama romance stuff, it's all the sports action is all really good. Romance and drama stuff is good. It had a little bit of kind of like a down arc, but it recovered from it pretty quickly. I really like Blue Box, and if you're not sure if you're sold on it, go read the one shot. The Blue Box one shot is like one of the best one shots I've ever read. It really is exceptionally good and concise and works. And this, I mean, it's the confession chapter. It's great. I love it. I'm super excited to see where it goes now. Because I don't know if we're gonna get full Reiwa energy and it's gonna be we should date, or if it's gonna be classic I can't date you until the basketball competition, which is kind of how I feel it might go. Just have a sneaking suspicion that because they're both set up for what is it? Taiki's trying to get into some kind of school, and then Shinatsu, the girl, there's a basketball competition coming up that she has to win, and they're both kind of internally in the past, they both kind of struggled with. They do the classic romance manga anime thing, right? Where it's, if I get first place on my tests, I'll confess, or if I win the basketball, I'll confess. Which is why I'm super glad that they kind of broke away from that and were just like, the dude's just like, I can't fucking wait anymore. I have to tell this girl I love her. Yeah, I don't know.
This is the I'm the armored titan and he's the colossal titan of confessions, where it just happens.
Not quite, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
it does. I mean, I don't know if it felt more. Man, it's kind of hard to describe. I need to like go back and read the last 3 or 4 chapters, but it felt very. I'm trying to think. Chapter 100 or maybe chapter 99, they like shared a really intimate like moment, and then Taiki, the male MC, has been like, and then what is it? They like share a really intimate moment where she like hugs him or something, right? Like easy bullshit, high school bullshit, right? Like, oh, she hugged me, she's in love with me, whatever. But then she like leaves to go spend, I think, like Christmas and winter with her family. And so the dude's like absolutely pining for like real bad. So all of that kind of coming to a head, and like we're close to each other after a couple of weeks. I, missed her so much, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It all made good sense to me. I think the character writing here is excellent. I think the art is great. Any chapter that gets me just like, holy shit, I really want to read the next chapter. That is the gripping sort of, that's the kind of story I want to read, right? That just pulls you in and makes you, is a page turner, essentially.
Yeah, I get you. I agree. Hopefully, did they play more badminton?
There hasn't been badminton in a hot minute, but they do. The guy still plays badminton, so is he a second year or first year? He's a second year high school student. She's a third year high school student. I think that's right. Or maybe he's a first year and she's a second year. Might be that.
Yeah, he was
I
the
think
younger one.
He's the younger one. Yeah, which is why he calls her senpai. But I don't know. I mean, there's not much else to say other than sick rail energy confession, and I think this is going for at least 50 more chapters. So
yeah, that's
impressed.
awesome. I'm glad it's not ending like some manga do,
Yeah,
like right
I
after a
mean,
confession.
there's like a slim chance it might. It really doesn't feel like it should be ending anytime soon.
Got it.
So cool. Let's talk about another little darling that we've brought up once or twice in the past, but has been getting a official English translation, so we've been able to catch up and now move ahead of where the fan translations were previously. This is Kindergarten Wars by Yu Chiba. Let's talk about Kindergarten Wars. So you caught up with the 3 chapters published at a time. We got 3 of them today. I think it was 13, 14, 15. All really good. Talk to me overall about Kindergarten Wars. How do you feel about it? What do you like?
It's as fun as always. Yeah, I really like the series. It's very much a popcorn series where I can just read it and have a good time. And it's nice to have like something very casual to read.
Yeah.
And it's kept me interested. I didn't think this premise I would have the legs it did, to be honest. I thought it has one joke.
I'm glad you come around on it, because I remember talking about it maybe when we started the podcast when chapter 1 or 2 dropped, and I thought, we had 3 or 4 chapters, and I was like,
I
think
always
this
thought
has
it was
legs.
great.
Yeah, and
I just didn't think it had legs. Yeah,
I thought it was, especially after the bomb girl arc. I thought that was like incredibly good character storytelling. So I was in after that. I thought, oh yeah, this author can write. So Chiba can write.
It's a little tough sometimes with the one joke series. And Kindergarten Wars it has more jokes now, but
yeah,
the first like 8 chapters, 9 chapters is one joke, and it is good every time. And my concern was, how long can this one joke continue to be good? And the answer is, it's still good. I don't know.
It was good in, was it chapter 13? The one where she comes up against like a group of ninja assassins and like asks them all like one dating question, and they all answer with like the most awful answers.
I loved it. Yeah, that was really funny.
Was it? There's one of them where she's like, "What's your favorite movie?" And he's like, "It's the live action adaptation of," and like doesn't finish and gets shot.
Yeah, exactly. That was hilarious. One of them is like a ticket scalper. Yeah.
It's just funny. She's like ranking them. She like sees them and she's like, oh, like all these different types of guys. Like, oh, it's the twins, the cute and the dark type, number like 13 and 14 ranked. It's just good gags with addition to other stuff. Also like surprisingly good action choreography and paneling. I actually like every time big action happens, I like it. It's maybe not the best I've ever seen, but it's like really good and I like it and it's exciting. This series does require like, it's very Looney Tunes in that you just have to suspend your disbelief fully in why are assassins running a kindergarten? Who cares? Just read it. Like it's
Sakamoto Days levels of Looney Tunes.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, right. Like here she's like deflecting a sword with like a shovel.
Yeah.
Like, blocking a shovel with her gun and all this stuff. But yeah, I mean this is a really fun series. The official translations I think have been really good. All the new characters they've introduced I think are good. I like, again, speaking of the story kind of evolving past the one joke kind of meme format. We've gotten a little bit of history on the lead character and how she used to be like the best assassin in the world and they called her the witch or whatever and how she kind of recovered from that. But I like these couple of chapters kind of opening that up again and going into it. My guess is we're going to get a little bit more of her backstory coming, and it was Doug and the other girl are going to learn more and more, learn how she feels about it. I don't know. I mean, I think that just with the storytelling, especially of the whole Bomb Girl arc, I kind of trust this author to just do a good character thing in the middle of, this goofy.
I think so. It seems compelling.
Thing.
Yeah. We kept talking about how it has one joke, but didn't explain what the joke is. The joke is that she really wants to date a hot guy, but she is also incredibly picky. So so the only guys she meets are people trying to assassinate like one of the kindergartners because they have rich parents, or kidnap a kindergartner. and every guy she meets has a red flag or a perceived red flag, and she just kills them.
Yeah, and as soon as the red flag comes up, she goes, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's but honestly, they've done it in a couple of like different ways that it keeps. You're right that it's just like it is one joke, but it keeps me funny. Like the group one they
but
did.
One Punch Man has one joke, right? Or like technically, the premise is that he beats everything in one punch, and that was like the first like 10 chapters. But,
I mean, that's the first like 80.
So
chapters,
it can still be like one joke doesn't mean a bad thing. It can still be a good joke. You just have to keep it fresh.
Yeah,
but either way,
it's a good way to sort of lay a cornerstone for your series of like, I will do more different spins on this one joke, and it'll still be interesting and funny. And you know that even if we don't see it for a couple of chapters, you'll kind of come back to it as a safe spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
You think this new assassin girl will join as a teacher?
I don't know. I think she might be more like a recurring antagonist who's, I'll come back and chase you down and show up at opportune times. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to tell. The series is still so new. I mean, we've only gotten 15 chapters, and the first 4 or 5 or 6 were all just kind of gags things before we got the bomb girl arc, and then just more kind of gag stuff in the middle. So very lighthearted, kind of very difficult to tell where the actual story is going to go. I did like the gag here of the kids just being like so innocent and happy. Like she gets knocked into like a little house or whatever, and he's just like Sensei, you found us. He's like, why did you go inside? He's like, we're gonna play action thing. Oh, but yeah, and here's a good panel example of like the really good action. Like this is a fucking awesome spread. This is a cool spread.
Yeah, it looks great.
With really goofy faces. This is sort of like, this is Kindergarten Wars boiled down into like a single page, right? It's like, wow, really hardcore, over the top action. She like throws her sword and cuts the playground in half, and there's like 3 smiling kids with like the little bracket eyes and the goofy faces on all the teachers. This is like, it's goofy, it's high action, it's over the top. That's exactly what Kindergarten Wars is.
It's just a fun series, for sure. But yeah, go check it out. It's a perfect time to get into it. It's only 15 chapters out.
Yeah, it's on Manga Plus and the Viz app. So the kids are so funny. They just literally always have the exact same face. They have the same face in every single panel they're on. Oh, this one's a little different, but
they're permanently jazzed about the situation.
Like, yeah. Cool. Anything else about Kindergarten Wars?
Nope.
Cool. I think we're gonna spend. We got some big one more things to talk about. I think those are going to take up a little bit more time. So let's start with yours. A movie you went to go see last night? No, 2 nights ago, Monday night.
I actually, mine's going to be really quick.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I think I'm just going to give you my opinion on it without any spoilers and move on. Basically, Across the Spider-Verse is probably the best movie I've seen in years. I think it is the best superhero movie I've ever seen, and it's not close. I just think it does everything right, and I don't want to say anything else about it at risk of ruining any part of it for you guys. So go check it out.
That's true.
You're definitely missing out if you do not watch it. I assure you. What do you think on it, Bruce?
I totally agree with you. This is one of the best movies I have seen in years. This is probably the best movie I have seen since the first Spider-Man 5 years ago or whatever it was. The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Is that what the first one's called?
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse, yeah. I'm trying to think. The only thing that I think doesn't let me fully pass judgment on it is a little bit of a spoiler for the ending. So I will just say that I do not feel I can fully pass judgment on it until more happens, I guess.
Until a sequel?
Right. Until a sequel happens. That's minor spoilers. But yeah, I mean, this is just like art. This is like artistry at every level. This is like perfect storytelling, the perfect pacing, visuals that are so interesting but not unclear. All these different artistic styles, all these different cultural things happening inside it. It's just like, it's everything. And it's all so perfect. It's so good.
I completely agree. And I feel like we could just leave it at that, because you should just go see it.
Yeah, you should.
We don't want to say anything more on it.
Please pay money to see this movie.
Cool. I do have one quick thing to bring up though. I read the Kill Blue, the assassin going to the body of a little girl thing by the Hinamatsuri author. I just
you're talking about JM. That's Kill Blue. JM is the new one. Yeah, that's the what we're talking about. This body swap by the Hinamatsuri author. Yeah.
I wish I had remembered that before today, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out and say I think it was really good. I thought it was really interesting.
It's a better version of Kill Blue is what it is.
Oh my god, yeah. A much better version of freaking Kill Blue, dude. It is what Kill Blue should have been. It has the same, a very similar premise, but just does it right, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a monthly series, so I think if we get chapter 2, we can bring that in a little bit. But yeah, I agree. I read the J. It's like a J double arrow M J swap in. I think it's just JM is what we'll call it. Really good series, really funny. I liked it a lot. So yeah,
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. Really so what do you got for us?
One more thing, Bruce. Oh boy. I finished reading Naoki Urasawa's Monster. Saying that Spider-Verse is one of the best movies we've seen in years, I think Monster might be the best thing I've ever read. Like that, just period, end of story. Like it legitimately, I haven't fully processed it yet, even though it's been like almost a week since I finished it. It might be one of the best things I've ever read. Like it's so masterfully crafted. It's like, I don't even know where to begin. There are characters that will show up sort of in an arc that come back and are important. There are through-line characters through the whole story. Everything is resolved. Everything is dramatic. The climax is insane. This is the sort of pinnacle HBO drama series of manga. That's kind of the best way to describe it. You could one-to-one adapt Monster into live action on a screen, and it would be the new talked about HBO drama. Like it's that good. And I think if you just translated it pretty much one-to-one onto screen, people would be like, oh yeah, this is The Wire. This is Breaking Bad. This is The Sopranos. This is on that level of good, but it's also like better than all of those.
That's crazy.
I legitimately think this is maybe one of the greatest pieces of media I have ever consumed.
That is such incredibly strong praise.
Yes. And you remember how much I praised Pluto, and Pluto was amazing, very good. I would definitely say if you want to start with something by Naoki Urasawa, start with Pluto, just because it's shorter. It's only like 60 or 70 chapters. Monster is like 160. That being said, because it is longer, it gives you more time with the characters. It gives you more time to build and expand on everything. And really, I think every extra page Naoki Urasawa gets to tell his story is just more perfect storytelling. And so the fact that Monster is longer than Pluto is just means that it's better.
That's cool.
It also has maybe the greatest last chapter of any, like the greatest sort of finale note of like any, again, just like of any story I've ever read. The last chapter of Monster is so fucking cool, and it's so good, and it resolves and progresses and surprises and reveals, and all I will say is, well, no, the name Monster could be about multiple people in the story, and that's part of the beauty of it.
Interesting. Well, cool. I will have to read it.
Yeah.
And I will say the anime was also animated by Madhouse in their prime.
Yes.
So,
and I think the anime adapts virtually all of it. I think it's like 60 episodes, right? So if you do two and a half, if you do about 2.5 chapters per episode, you're going to get, I think, the whole story. And from what I understand, I think you can probably watch the anime and get the same or similar things out of it. I will say, I particularly love Naoki Urasawa's his page layout, his storytelling. I think I talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago when I was reading Monster and not finished with it. You can go listen to that episode, but wow. I mean, yeah, I mean, I just can't like. It's very hard for me to parse every book I've ever read, every comic I've ever read, every manga, but like I can't think of anything that has such sort of intricate, mature, perfect, excellent character, plot, pacing. The art is awesome. The page layouts, everything. Like Monster is, it's amazing. I think the only thing that I could say negative about it is that it is a slow burn series in that for the first 20, 30, maybe even 40 chapters, I was not as gripped as I was after the time, right? If you can, I think the very start of it is super gripping. And then I think it kind of goes into Tenma's on the run and he's chasing blah, and he kind of chases him around for a bunch of little short arcs. But the cool thing is, by the time you get to the end of the series, all those little short little arc things he did are actually like super important. They like matter. And one of the other cool things I have to call out about all of Urasawa's work that I've read, but especially Monster and even Pluto, is how worldly it is, how kind of in tune with other cultures. Monster takes place in Germany, primarily in Germany, and I guess they just call it Czech. Late 90s, it was not Czechoslovakia. It might have been the Czech Republic. I think it might be Czech Republic at the time. And the like cultural political context that it's written in is like 100% in tune with like real German and real Czech people. And they talk about, because it takes place from like 1995 to 99, I think. It's about a 4-year span. They talk about like the fall of East Germany, which was like not that long before this happened. They talk about it's called the Balkans War. Czechoslovakia getting split up into the Czech Republic and Slovakia happened around that time also. There's early 90s, 91, 92. That is like a key, or no, I guess it might have been mid 80s. But anyways, that like those real life events play an incredibly important part in the story of Monster. And so it isn't just like, oh, it's set in Germany because it'd be cool and interesting. And, you know, they go to Czech Republic because blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like the reason these characters are here is because the Czech Republic fell apart and they were immigrants or refugees, blah, blah, blah. Like all this stuff is like all this real life political, I'm trying to think of what, like this like real life, I'm going to say it correctly once. This like real life, like political situations. I don't know how to say it. It's in the story. And Tenma being from Japan, and there's a point near the end, not really spoilers here, where he meets like groups of other refugees, right? He meets like a woman from Vietnam and some guys, I think also from like some Balkan state and all this other stuff. And they're also presented in a very sort of sympathetic, you know, the world has wronged you type of way that was appropriate for the mid 90s. I don't know.
I get you. That sounds cool. It represents like the political climate and landscape of the time perfectly.
There you go. Right? Political climate and landscape. Those are the words I was looking for. Yeah. The fact that Urasawa is able to get that political climate and landscape into his stories and make it real and make it important and influential to the story, in addition to just writing a really good story. This is the nuance and depth I talk about when I talk about like manga reviews and stuff. The nuance and depth is sort of like the extra, like, okay, is your author not just telling a simple story? Like, what else are they doing? And Monster is like fully doing fucking everything it can. And it is doing all of it perfectly. It has all of that political intrigue stuff. It has all of that cultural, situational, border, whatever you want to call it, stuff. And it's all like none of it is bad or wrong. It is all perfect. It is the perfect mastery of storytelling, visually, writing wise. Special shout out to a previous fan translator who is now an official translator for WSJ. His name is Stephen Paul. I think I tweeted at him once, or maybe I talked to him directly on Twitter. I don't remember. Stephen Paul used to work for Manga Screener, which was a rip site or whatever. He fully translated Pluto and he fully translated Monster, and I believe he works now on One Piece and a couple of other things for Shueisha. Might be the greatest translator writer I've ever seen, because you can't just be a normal translator on something like Monster or Pluto and really get the full effect, the full feeling of it through. And Stephen Paul's translation of Monster is immaculate. It is so good. I cannot imagine what any other translation possibly being better. I've nothing but praise for Monster. It's like I was saying, it's very hard. I'm trying to parse through every single piece of art that I've ever consumed. Monster might be the best piece of art I've ever consumed. Like it's in that conversation. It's that good.
Damn. Well, good shit. I'll have to check it out. And you know what? I think, Bruce, as a recommendation to you, consume more shitty content, because you watched and read 2 incredibly good things in a row.
Yes.
And I fear your standards might be too high now. So
nope, too bad. I'm reading 20th Century Boys, also by Naoki Urasawa, and commonly regarded as his best work and his longest work. So, and
I don't think you will have the capacity to enjoy anything else after you're done.
No, that actually is the problem now. Is I tried to read a bunch of other stuff. I tried to read. I'm gonna have to look at what I tried to read between. I tried to read some Undead Unluck and I couldn't do it. Tried to get back into Trigun, was like, nah, it's not really doing it. I tried to start up Soul Eater again and was like, no, I don't think so. There was something else I tried to read, and I was like, I tried to read Hell's Paradise, Chiko Kuraku, and I was like, no, I think I just need to keep reading Urasawa until I read all of it and then take a break. So I'm going to read 20th Century Boys. That'll probably take me a couple months. That's like 250 chapters. And I'm going to read Billy Bat. And then I'm going to read Asadora. And he wrote one other thing that I can't remember. But Asadora is his currently published work. So, yeah.
Well, Godspeed, King. When he's back, he's just going to hate every chapter of everything he's read. He's just going to be like, okay, let's talk about it.
It's going to be like the One Piece. I'm just going to look at it and be like, yeah, but in Monster, like Urasawa does this and this, and it's perfect. It's exceptional. It's the best every time. Why can't everybody just be like this?
My only issue with this chapter of Mashal is that they didn't cover the geopolitics of the situation well enough. That's what Bruce is going to be like when he's back.
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's so good to a degree that it like just exists in a different world. Like I honestly, I don't think I will bring it to compare to other series, because there's nothing to compare it to. Like you can't compare anything to Monster. Like the only things I can think to compare to Monster would be, I think the best comparison I can give is something like The Wire or the Hannibal TV series. If you like kind of cross those two together, the kind of like socio-politicalness of Baltimore in the late 90s is very much very similar to this kind of socio-politicalness of Germany / the Czech Republic in the late 90s. And they both kind of execute that really, really well. But yeah, I mean, this is the premier HBO drama. This is the Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Sopranos, Breaking Bad, The Wire, Mad Men. If you like those things, you'll like Monster. And Monster is also, I think, hands down better than all of those things.
Damn. Well, okay,
it's awesome.
On the list.
It's excellent. You've got to read it because it's it's immaculate. It's so good. It's beyond so good. It like legitimately is perfect. I would change nothing. Anyways, I'm done gushing. I'll go take a cold shower after this.
That was actually the definition of gushing. If you look that up on the dictionary, you can find what Bruce just said a few seconds ago.
Gushing.
But it does sound good. Jokes aside, it does sound good. I will have to check it out, and I'll report back to you. I'll let you know.
I would very much suggest. I do think that if you're just going to start with Urasawa, I think start with Pluto. It's a self-contained story. It's a neat little nod to Astro Boy. I have my little picture of Tetsuwan Atom of Astro Boy back there, as you can see, because I read Pluto and was like, I have to get a picture. I have something in my room has to tell me that I love Urasawa. So Tetsuwan Atom is back there. Also, minor tangent complaint. Astro Boy is a stupid fucking name when the original name is Tetsuwan Atom, which is like steel-armed atom, which is cool, right? Like, or iron-armed atom, I think is the like direct translation. Is like iron-armed atom, ATOM.
That makes sense, but also in like the cartoon, he was a diaper baby, and Astro Boy is the perfect name for him in that case.
Luckily in Urasawa's, he is never a diaper baby. He pretty much looks like that.
Yeah.
Where's my?
Yeah, okay.
He
Good.
pretty much looks like a little boy the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, you will see me in 2 or 3 months, and I will come back with 20th Century Boys, and you'll probably get another, what was that, 15 minutes of me gushing? You'll probably get another 10 or 15 minutes of me saying, okay, I know that I said that Pluto was one of the best things I've ever read, and I know that I said that Monster was maybe the best piece of art I'd ever consumed, but 20th Century Boys, from what I understand, 20th Century Boys is widely regarded as like his magnum opus. So
he's gonna go through all of them and come back in like a year and a half, and be like, my dopamine receptors don't fire dopamine into my brain no more.
Well,
because so much too much high quality shit went into it.
Well, I mean, he is currently publishing Asadora, so eventually the last hurdle to jump is catching up with that, and then I will get, I think weekly. No, he might publish monthly. I think it might be monthly published. Anyways, monthly Urasawa. He also has his own YouTube channel, so I'm also just gonna start tweeting at him all the time and commenting on his YouTube channel in poorly translated Google translated Japanese. Like, I love your work. I think you are an artist. I think you are the Leonardo da Vinci of manga. I think you are Jesus Christ of manga.
I'm sure he'll love that.
Yeah.
Reach out to him. Get him on the pod, dude.
You and I do not speak Japanese in the slightest.
Well, hold on. If he said, "Hey, let me come on your pod, but I only want to talk about geopolitics,"
I would say yes, absolutely. I would just be like, tell me. I want to, like, man, I'm so curious about how he wrote Monster, because he must have gone to Germany and Czech Republic for like a year. Like, he surely lived in those places for like years. Like, his understanding of the like small little enclaves of, one of them is like, what is it, like Czech refugees in Germany, and the like part of the story of Monster is about sort of like remains of Nazism and white supremacy and stuff like that plays a part in Monster, and that was a real thing in late 80s and 90s Germany. And they had to work really hard to squash it. Like, it's just it's like, I don't even know. It's crazy. It's just insane how good it is, and how he like weaves all of that nuance and depth into his story while still telling like a super compelling, dramatic story that's like, it's not fun. It is fun to read because it's a wild ride, and it is like such good storytelling that like, yeah, it is fun. The topics aren't always fun. There's murder and that kind of stuff, but like, it's so gripping. It is like that gripping drama of a Breaking Bad, of Sopranos, or something like that. That's what this kind of story is. Got it.
Well, yeah. I'll have to check it out.
Go read it or watch the anime. I think the anime is probably the same. Anything else you want to mention, drop, talk about?
Nope. I'm all good.
Let's get out of here then. Thank you for listening or watching. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channels White, Gray, Black, and WGB Weekly Manga Podcast. That's this channel. If you want to listen to us as an audio-only podcast, we are on all the major podcast providers. If you enjoy the podcast and you want to support us, just give us a like or a follow on whatever podcast or video distributor of your choice that you're on. Subscribe, whatever positive reinforcement you can. That's the best thing you can do for us. If you really want to help out, head on over to the Patreon over at patreon.com/WGBmanga, where you can hear some bonus episodes. Check me out on Twitter at WGBmanga. If you want to suggest something that we should be reading or talking about, leave a comment on the YouTube video, or at me on Twitter. Is that what you say? At me on Twitter? Tag me on Twitter?
I think so. I think it's at me, right?
Yeah. Tag me on Twitter. Tweet me. Tweet at me. There we go. As always, thank you so much for being with us this week.
Goodbye.
Please come back next week, and don't forget to read more manga.